Phoenix is an important roller coaster in the amusement industry, from being a piece of history to being one of the most highly ranked wooden coasters in the world. Originally opening in 1947 at Playland Park in San Antonio, Texas, Phoenix, or rather the Rocket, which was its name at Playland, stood 78 feet tall, had a speed of 45 miles an hour, and a length of 3,200 feet. The ride was designed and built by Philadelphia Toboggan Company, or PTC for short, with its head designer at the time, Herbert Paul Schmeck, an absolute legend in the roller coaster industry. In 1980, the park shut down and Rocket was left to die. However, a small park in Pennsylvania was interested in the ride. This park was Knoebels, and in 1984, the ride was purchased by the park and relocated for the 1985 season. The ride had no actual blueprints, so each board was numbered and labeled to tell which part of the ride it belonged to. The ride is known to be the world's first relocated wooden coaster at this point, which is a pretty big deal, especially with the circumstances of no blueprints. Charles Dinn, another roller coaster legend, was the owner of Dinn Corporation, a wooden coaster designer responsible for several notable coasters such as Mean Streak at Cedar Point and Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun. He assisted with the relocation process of the Rocket along with PTC. It was decided that the ride would be named Phoenix. A phoenix is a mythological bird that is reborn from its own ashes of death. Since June of 1985, Phoenix has been thrilling riders from all around the world. Since the year 2000, Phoenix has ranked within the top 5 wooden coasters in the world by the Golden Ticket Awards of Amusement Today. In 2018 and 2019, the ride was even named the world's best wooden coaster. So how can a tiny wooden coaster designed in the 40s beat out modern day beasts like El Toro, the Voyage, and Lightning Rod? Well, to answer it quickly, it's because the Golden Ticket Awards are corrupt. But the quick answer is lame. It also doesn't explain that much. A lot of other people do think that Phoenix is the world's best wooden coaster, so let's dive into why they think so. Let's start out by analyzing the layout. The ride starts out with a slow pre-lift section in a tunnel, with a few turns. The ride then climbs a 78-foot tall lift hill, then heads down the 72-foot tall drop. If you're in the back seat, you'll get some floater air. After the drop, you rise up into a turnaround taken at a slower pace. And at first glance, you may think, what's so good about this ride? It's just a classic double out and back wooden coaster with some airtime hills. This brings us to our first reason on why the ride is considered to be one of the best. The ride basically has no restraint. The ride's only restraint is a buzz bar, which is a single position lap bar that sits about 6 or more inches above your lap. Many notable wooden coasters used to have this restraint way back in the day, such as Comet at Great Escape and Wild One at Six Flags America. These rides had buzz bars up until being relocated and got new ratcheting PTC lap bars that they offered. However, Phoenix kept the buzz bars on the trains, creating a much more open and free experience. Anyways, back to the layout. After the turnaround, you dive down into the first 2 airtime hills, which provide some great floater airtime. Phoenix's trains do have the seat dividers in the middle to prevent you from sliding around the seats during the ride. If you're a skinnier person, these won't affect you that much. But if you're a fat ass like me, these dividers will hinder some of the weaker airtime hills. You still feel the forces, but you won't be flying out of your seat. But if you are on the slimmer side, you'll be floating up and down on the first 2 airtime hills. Next up is another turnaround, which is much shorter than the last one, and the trains take this at a much faster pace than the last one. This turnaround provides some nice laterals and really slam you into the left side of the train. If you're in the back row, the drop-off provides a nice pop of ejector, which really gets you out of the seat. The next element is a double-up. In the front seat, the first hill of the double-up provides some awesome ejector airtime that really gets you coming off your seat. I'd say a few good inches to be honest. The second hill is fairly slow and drawn out, so it really doesn't do anything. However, the double-up immediately transitions into a double-down. If you're in the back row, you'll be almost standing. The profiling on this hill is very sharp, which really just sends you out of the train. Entering the final turnaround, you slam into the right side of the train and get some great sustained laterals around this whole turn. The next part of the ride is the best in my opinion. The drop off the turnaround is small, but it's sharp so it provides some nice airtime. After that, you fly into 4 sharp airtime hills. These 4 hills are so sharp that you will actually be coming up so far out of your seat that your lap will be slamming into your buzz bars. Now keep in mind, that's about 6 inches or more, so you're flying that high off your seat. The final hill has a shorter drop than it does a rise, so you really slam back down into your seat, causing the only true moment of pain on this ride. And after this final hill, you slide into the brake run. Now before I mentioned how slamming back down into your seat is the only true moment of pain on this ride. Most older wooden coasters like this provide a bumpy or even rough experience. 2 that come to mind are ones mentioned before, Comet at Great Escape and Wild One at Six Flags America. These rides aren't rough at all, but you can definitely feel their age. Comet at Great Escape is actually a year younger than Phoenix and is also designed by PTC. It provides a much rougher and wood coaster-like experience. Like I said, the ride doesn't hurt, but it has that wooden feel to it. Phoenix, on the other hand, is like El Toro on its smoothest factor. It's definitely not as smooth as El Toro, but it provides no shakiness, potholes, or even bumps. However, the ride still does feel like a wooden coaster. It has that out-of-control feeling and sound. Knoebels has their own lumber yard, and the park really cares for the rides. Phoenix always goes under a refurbishment every winter to ensure the ride always stays smooth and enjoyable. All three of their wooden coasters, Phoenix, Twister, and Flying Turns, are all very smooth. So Phoenix has three things going for it so far: the trains, the airtime, and a smooth ride. I still have a couple more things to add though. The Phoenix crew always has great operations. Even with one train running, the line is always moving, and trains are checked in 30 seconds or less. 30-second dispatches for this large of a coaster is absolutely crazy. The final point I'll be adding is that Phoenix is at an amazing park. Knoebels is a very unique park with great rides, a do-whatever-you-type atmosphere, and awesome employees. Knoebels ranks in my top 5 parks that I've been to, so it's not just some park you go to Phoenix in the credits and leave. It's somewhere you actually want to be. Having an awesome park to back an awesome ride is always a plus. So now it's time for the title of this video. Is Phoenix really the world's best wooden coaster? I say no. While the ride is amazing and currently sits at number 8 in my overall top 10 coasters and number 3 in my top wooden coasters, it is by far from the world's best. I prefer an aggressive and intense ride, which is why I have Lightning Rod and El Toro ranked above this. While Phoenix does have its intense and aggressive moments, El Toro and Lightning Rod are constantly throwing you around with aggressive ejector airtime, laterals, and even positive forces. However, I do consider Phoenix to be the best classic wooden coaster. While the term classic doesn't really have a definition when it comes to wooden coasters, I seem to give this term to wooden coasters designed before 1985. While I personally do not think Phoenix is the world's best wooden coaster, I can see why someone would rank it as such. Also, if you really like the feeling of being in danger, Phoenix definitely provides that. With minimal restraints, and you're literally almost flying out of the train before the buzz bar catches you at last second, you really feel like you're going to die on this ride, which is one of the reasons I really liked it. Of course, Phoenix is actually very, very safe. It goes under inspections every day, and nobody has been seriously injured or even died on Phoenix or any of the rides at Knoebels. So when I say you have a sense of danger, it doesn't actually mean you are in danger of injury or death, it just makes you feel like it. I know some people will interpret that wrong, so I wanted to give this little PSA. Also, out of all the wooden coasters I've been on, Phoenix is the most re-rideable. It doesn't really put any intense forces on you, and it's very smooth, so you don't really get a headache from riding it countless times. The most I've ridden El Toro in one day is 38 times. And afterwards, I felt exhausted. With Lightning Rod, after riding it 5 or 6 times in a row, I was ready to take a nap. So to end this video, I agree that Phoenix is a top 10 wooden coaster in the world, but I don't think it's the world's best and should not be ranked as such. So what's your opinion on Phoenix? Drop it down in the comments below, and also let me know what coaster you'd like to see reviewed next. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more content. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers and even 1,000 sometime soon, so let's see if we can hit that goal. Anyways, thanks for watching everyone, and I hope to see you all in the very next video.